welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you how I prepare for my games. So, as you know, uh, I play somewhat seriously, even though so I have a few friends that play, and my brothers and my sisters also play. So this is how I prepare against them. And of course, this method is applicable to most skill levels, even to, I believe, the top level. But we have this free website called Opening Tree, and you can choose whichever site you want, whether it's chess.com, chess.org, or any other chess website you choose. I chose Lee Chess for this because it's free, and all you have to do is you go to the analysis board, right? And it'll show up a blank screen like this, and you enable the computer to see the best engine lines. And if you want to prepare against a single person, you go to this website, Opening Tree, and then you select the source. Like, this accounts for online games. So let's say that uh, I'm going to choose a random person. Let's go with Lee Chess, and let's say that it's, as you can see, I've just been testing this out. Let's test with this Seer 3, and then we can click continue, and it'll ask if we want to see what they play. Let's say that Seer 3 when playing with white, and it'll just press continue and then analyze games, and then they'll load, and then you can see the view moves right here. And as you can see that for this account, for the 9 games that they have played, they have played every single time with white. They have played e4, and as you can see, there are several different answers to e4 that they faced. Like, maybe if you're an e5 player, then you can see that every single time this position has been reached, they play knight f3. And now you can prepare against knight f3. Maybe you want to play the Petrov, or maybe you want to play like maybe you want to play knight knight c6, or maybe you, right? So basically you can see that every time this position has been reached, so this person is a Ruy Lopez player. They always go here. Every single time this position has been reached, they always go here, which means that now you know which opening they're going to use. So maybe you want to just do the main line with a6, or maybe you just want to play like the Schliemann with f5, right? Like, so now you have like an idea of what they're going to play even before they play them, so you don't have to research and study every single move order. You know what they're playing, you know what they're comfortable with, right? And this also works with black too. So just change the color to black. We press continue and we analyze the games. And as you can see, if they're mad with e4, then they will most likely play e5. And they played c5 once, but they most likely played e5. Now, from here on out, if let's say you play the classic move knight f3, then their response is always knight c6. So, as you can see, they have never faced the Italian or the Ruy Lopez before, right? They've never faced that, which means that if you do play the Italian or the Ruy Lopez, you may be able to take them out of their preparation. Like, this is very useful information because if you just lazily develop like the 3 knights variation, it always ends up to a 4 knights position, and then you just go on and continue this game. Like, this is a pretty boring game, to be honest with you. So maybe if you want to spice things up, maybe you want to just play the Rui Lopez, or maybe you want to play the Italian. Like, for beginners like this, person, it's not that hard to find something that they have not faced yet before. And something that they've not faced yet before is definitely going to put them out of their prep, and it'll help a great amount when playing against them. Now, it's a different situation if, let's say, you're just playing at the top level, and you know what? I'm going to face Hikaru. And why is this so hard? Because, truth be told, Hikaru has played. Actually, I haven't. I haven't done this. Right? That's why. And we analyze games. As you can see, Hikaru has a lot more games. So I'm just going to simulate the first, I don't know, 200. After the first 200 games, we'll see, right? So, 200 games of Hikaru playing white. As you can see, if we view the moves, of course, the first is e4, right? And the most he's faced is actually at c5, the Sicilian defense. But what happens if people play e5? What does he play? He plays either the Vienna or this, the King's Knight, right? And when faced with knight c6, what does he play? He plays either the Scotch, the Italian, or the Rui Lopez, as expected from a top player, right? Now, this also works with black, as I've shown you before, and it's not the only reason why. Okay, let's go back to the beginner. As you can see, let's go back to the beginner, and let's say that they're playing black, and we just analyze the games and we view moves. If they're faced with e4, they always play e5. They played c5 once. So the other purpose of this is either to put them out of their preparation quickly or to out prep them. So for example, if you play like maybe this, and you see that that he specializes in the King's Knight opening, normal variation, or maybe if we're going to play like if we're going to play black, or and he's playing white, and we analyze the games, and you know that he's always playing the Rui Lopez, right? Now you can see this, so you can pretty much go to your uh, browser, put on Stockfish, right? This is how you prep. You go to e4, e5, and then you just input the moves, right? And then the Rui Lopez. Now, of course, the idea of this is if you're playing black, you should flip board, and then you should pretty much just remember as much computer lines as possible. Although it may not be helpful against like a weaker player because they would not play the best computer moves, like you're still going to play like maybe knight f6, right? And you know, beginner player may take this pawn, no, may take this and take that. Like, if you're playing a beginner, the most important detail to note is that a beginner does not know everything, which means that there are always tricks. Like, for example, if you take here and we take here, you may think that, oh, hey, that's a free pawn, right? And the beginner may just take that immediately. And if they do, it falls into this for king, the pawn, and the knight. Right? That's just an example of a trap. A video about traps is coming like maybe Wednesday. So like that's how basically you prepare. You basically, if you're playing against beginners, you're probably going to have more success just not remembering the best engine lines, but maybe like some traps and something that beginners would absolutely fall for. Like for example, let's say that he plays f5 to Schliemann. What is the defense here? d3. Okay. And then, as you can see, here I'll input the moves again. If you play the Schliemann, which is this, you see d3 is actually the correct move, right? Now, another use of this opening tree is to see, like, are they playing perfect chess? Do they know theory? As you can see, the one playing black here does not, because they play this. While in reality, the theory goes 6. Right? Now, this is beginners we're talking about, right? So, they're obviously not going to know theory. Which is why I hate, like, going here and just clicking the top engine moves, because realistically speaking, they're not going to play that. Like, someone here may just take. If they're low enough rated, they'll just take. And then you take. And then they'll just take here and be like, oh hey, no castling rights. That's pretty good. So, again, like, beginners would not know what they're doing most of the time. I know, I'm a beginner myself. So, as you can see, this queen just moves from there to there to there, right? And then the next move they place this. Now this is like, if you're going to prep against beginners or against amateurs or someone that is not like very very good, you need to put these moves into account. Moves like this. Because it's just like, how do I say this, right? Like moves like this, that makes the position +2 for white. It doesn't hang a piece, right? It's not like a blunder, it's just a mistake. So what it means is that in the eyes of beginners, it's not that big of a deal because the blunder is positional. And you have to put this into account, that they may play random moves like so and so, right? Like this. They may play absolutely random moves. Which is why, even though this prep is the most effective way to do it, right? You know that they're playing Ruy Lopez, so you know how to counter it. The other part of prep is, of course, to go here, just play a few puzzles or play a few games, and just look for tactics, because most lower rated players will always fall for tactics. They see like maybe one move ahead and see, oh hey, like for example at the beginning, if you just simply uh if you just simply right, if you just simply develop like this and then develop like this, And like this, like in this position, a beginner may be like, oh hey, that's a free pawn, without realizing that there's a trap. That's why it's a trap, right? It's to punish the fact that people don't see these quite often. Like, beginners will fall for this, higher rated players may not, right? That's the point of traps. So even though like even though it may seem to be beneficial to just go for the top engine moves all the time, to just study and memorize all the top engine moves, believe me, your opponent's not going to play like a top engine unless they're super super experienced. So basically, the entire process of prep is you go to opening tree, you put in their usernames, and you study their openings, and you come to like an analysis board, and you study those openings to out prep them. And after you finish out prepping them, you should go back to opening tree, and after you finish white, you should go to black, or if you finish black, you should go to white, and then do the same, and then you just do puzzles and find, and basically bump up your knowledge about tactics. And against stronger players, what you should do is do the same thing, go to opening tree, finish everything, right? Look at their openings and stuff. And it's basically the same process. Just go to the analysis board. Maybe if you're playing a stronger player, look for the top engine moves because they are more likely to play those. Well, if you're a beginner, you can even go for the scholars mate if you want to. It, it probably works, to be honest with you. Like, if your rating is between like 100 and 1,000, like like uh the scholars mate still pretty much works there. If you're over 1,000, scholars mate would probably not work, but they'll still make tons of mistakes in the opening. And if you're like at least like 1,300 and above, just start playing like some engine moves, right? Like, studying the top engine moves for like 5, 10, 15 moves is beneficial at that range. And above like 1,700, 1,800, you're playing against experts right there. So you should definitely take them seriously and probably study. Like, at that point, people have a repertoire, which means that they may play. Like, even people like 1,100, 1,000, they have repertoires, which means they have played multiple different openings. So you just go to opening tree, you see what they're most likely to play, and then you just study those. Like, maybe 4 or 5 different openings, or more if they're stronger, right? So that's basically how you prep against other players. And this should be done like, if you're in a tournament, then maybe you get the appearance like 15 minutes before, so you may not have enough time. Like, this process shouldn't take you that long. Maybe the memorization of engine lines is definitely the one that takes the most time. So you basically go to opening tree, you just find every single, like, all the openings that they've played, and you just go to the analysis board and study them, and then just solve some puzzles, learn the basics, and those kinds of things. And then you should probably play games just to get a feel for it. Like, if you're studying a new opening just to, like, for example, right? I see an opening tree every go to black that this person has never once played against the Zucker Tort. So I thought, you know what? Let's just play it. And if you're learning a new opening just for this, you see, or if this is called the ready, but it once I think this is a super sword. No, this is still the ready actually. And this is the King's Indian attack now. But I feel like in here it's called the Zucker sword. Let me just do this. You see the Zucker sword? Yeah, they just have different names, I guess, for different moves. So basically, if you're learning a new opening, just you can just click the top engine moves, and you'll see the best moves. And it becomes the English opening now because you played C4, right? So basically, you just have to just memorize the top engine lines if you're facing a strong player, or you can learn some tricks if you're facing weaker players, because most likely they'll fall for it. And that's basically how you prep against an opponent. This has been Brycom. Peace.